Pakistan is building 10 mega projects right now, and each one is designed to shock the biggest military in South Asia. In 2025, Pakistan raised its defense budget by 20%. That pushed military spending to $9 billion in a single year. Now that sounds small against India's $81 billion, almost one-ninth the size. But Pakistan is not trying to match India. It is trying to neutralize it. Stealth fighters that slip past radar systems undetected. Submarines that stay underwater for weeks and carry nuclear missiles. A missile defense shield built to stop India's most powerful weapons. And a nuclear arsenal quietly growing in the shadows. But there is one project on this list that changes the entire game. It is not the biggest weapon. It is not the most expensive system. But it is the reason everything else on this list exists. And we will reveal it at number 1. These are not future plans. They are being built and deployed right now. Let's break down all 10 projects. And we start with a weapon most people have no idea exists. At number 10, we start with Pakistan's most underestimated jet, the JF-17 Thunder. Pakistan operates over 150 of these fighters right now. But in 2023, something changed that caught military analysts off guard. Photographs from Pakistan's National Day Parade revealed the truth. JF-17s were carrying Ra'ad cruise missiles. The Federation of American Scientists confirmed it. These missiles are nuclear capable. Ra'ad-1 reaches 350 kilometers. Ra'ad-2 hits 600 kilometers. Both carry warheads between 5 to 12 kilotons, and they strike within 3 meters of their target. This is what keeps Indian defense planners awake. For years, Pakistan relied on aging Mirage jets from the 1960s. Easy to track, easy to intercept. But now, over 150 modern jets carry nuclear weapons. The threat is no longer concentrated in one squadron. It is spread across an entire fleet, operating from multiple bases. For India's air defense, this makes preemptive strikes nearly impossible. You cannot destroy what is everywhere. But even these jets can still be detected by advanced radar. And that is exactly why the next project was designed. At number 9, the project that terrifies Indian strategists, the J-35A stealth fighter. Pakistan is acquiring 40 of these jets from China. Induction begins first quarter of 2026. The J-35A is a true 5th-generation stealth aircraft. Radar-evading design, advanced avionics, supercruise capability. This is Pakistan's biggest fighter upgrade since the F-16S, and this is where Indian defense planners lose sleep. India spent billions on the Russian S-400 air defense system. It was supposed to lock down Indian airspace, but the J-35A is built to bypass systems exactly like the S-400. Internal weapon bays mean zero external radar signature. By the time Indian radar picks up a signal, the strike is already complete. India's biggest investment in air defense could become irrelevant overnight. But stealth jets excel at offense. They cannot defend against incoming missiles. And India's Agni and BrahMos missiles are among the deadliest in Asia. That is exactly why the next system exists. At number 8, the system designed to stop India's most dangerous weapons, the HQ-19 missile defense system. China unveiled this in November 2024. And according to defense sources, Pakistan is in advanced talks to acquire it. If this deal goes through, the strategic balance shifts immediately. This system has a range of 3,000 kilometers. It intercepts ballistic missiles during their final phase, and it stops supersonic cruise missiles mid-flight. That includes India's Agni series and the deadly BrahMos. New Delhi's response? Silence. For decades, Pakistan only had offense. Attack us and we strike back harder. But the HQ-19 adds something Pakistan has never had: defense. Now Pakistan could absorb an Indian missile strike and survive to retaliate. India's missile strategy depends on overwhelming Pakistan before it can respond. But if those missiles get intercepted, that strategy collapses. India would need more missiles or entirely new systems. Both cost billions and take years to develop. But missiles are not the only threat. The deadliest weapons often hide where no one can see them. At number 7, we go underwater, the Hangar-class submarines. Pakistan is building 8 of them, 4 at Karachi shipyard, 4 in China, air-independent propulsion technology. They stay submerged for weeks without surfacing, silent, invisible, undetectable. Imagine it is 3 a.m. Indian sonar sweeps the Arabian Sea. Nothing. But 200 meters below, a Hangar submarine is waiting. This is where Indian strategists face a nightmare. These submarines carry nuclear-tipped cruise missiles. Even if India destroys every airbase and launcher on land, these survive, hiding deep in the Indian Ocean, ready to strike back. This is second strike capability. It makes any first strike against Pakistan useless. Retaliation is guaranteed. India can track planes and destroy launchers. But a submarine underwater cannot be found. What cannot be found cannot be stopped. But submarines fight below the waves. Pakistan needed firepower on the surface too. At number 6, we move to the surface, the Type 054A/P frigates. Pakistan has inducted 4 of these warships: PNS Tugril, PNS Taimur, PNS Shamshir, PNS Tabuk. The most capable surface ships Pakistan has ever operated. These frigates carry CM-401 supersonic missiles designed specifically to counter India's BrahMos and carrier strike groups. They also have HQ-16 air defense missiles with 50-kilometer range. For the first time, Pakistan can defend against incoming missiles and strike back simultaneously. India has 2 aircraft carriers and advanced destroyers. These 4 frigates do not close that gap, but they ensure India's naval dominance is no longer unchallenged. Every Indian carrier group now operates knowing Pakistan has the tools to fight back. But naval power depends on something most people overlook: supply lines. At number 5, a project that looks civilian but serves military purpose: the Daimir Basha Dam. 8.1 million acre-feet of water storage, 4,500 megawatts of electricity. Most see infrastructure. Strategists see survival. India controls 3 eastern rivers of the Indus system. It has proposed projects on the western rivers too. During conflict, India could theoretically restrict water flow to Pakistan. Agriculture collapses. Cities go dry. The Basha Dam is insurance against that nightmare. But there is a military angle even more critical. During war, India could blockade Pakistan's ports. Fuel imports stop. Power plants shut down. But hydroelectric power cannot be blockaded. 4,500 megawatts from Pakistan's own rivers, enough to keep military bases and defense factories running. No foreign fuel needed. No sanctions can stop it. In 1971, Pakistan learned the cost of dependence. The Basha Dam ensures that lesson is never repeated. At number 4, the coast. Gwadar Port, 400 kilometers from the Strait of Hormuz. Not just a shipping port anymore. Pakistan Navy has built a forward operating base here. Deep water berths for warships, new expressway, new airport, a fishing village transformed into a strategic facility. This is what concerns Indian naval planners. Pakistan's main base at Karachi sits 150 kilometers from India. Easy to strike, easy to blockade. But Gwadar is 600 kilometers west. Now India must monitor 2 ports instead of 1. That stretches naval resources thin. But here is the deeper concern. China sees Gwadar as a potential hub for its own naval operations. If Beijing establishes presence there, India faces 2 front naval pressure, Pakistan and China, from the same direction. Gwadar is not just a port. It is a piece on a chessboard extending far beyond South Asia. At number 3, something most people ignore: highways. The Sukur-Hyderabad motorway and Karakoram Highway, Phase 2. These are not civilian roads. They are military arteries. The M6 creates a 1,100-kilometer corridor from Peshawar to Karachi. Troops stationed in Punjab can reach Sindh within hours instead of days. The Karakoram Highway connects Pakistan directly to China through the Kunjarab Pass at over 15,000 feet. Here is the strategic calculation India cannot ignore. If India blockades Pakistan's ports during war, supplies stop coming by sea. But the Karakoram route cannot be blockaded. It runs through mountains India cannot reach. Weapons, fuel, and equipment flow directly from China. No navy can stop it. No air force can cut it. These highways do not add more soldiers to Pakistan's army, but they make every soldier dramatically more effective, moving faster, arriving sooner, striking harder. Speed is a weapon, and Pakistan just weaponized its geography. At number 2, we reach the ultimate deterrent: nuclear weapons. Pakistan currently holds over 170 warheads, but according to estimates from the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, that number is growing fast. Projections suggest 250 to 350 by the end of this decade, one of the fastest-growing nuclear arsenals on the planet. Here is the cold truth. India has 3 times Pakistan's conventional military power. More tanks, more jets, more ships. Pakistan cannot match that. But it does not need to, because every warhead sends one message that cannot be ignored. The cost of total war is annihilation for both sides. Pakistan's nuclear doctrine operates on 3 levels: tactical weapons like the Nasser missile for battlefield use, intermediate-range missiles like Shaheen-2 and Shaheen-3 covering all of India, and submarine-launched missiles for guaranteed retaliation. Even if India destroys every launcher, every airbase, every command center on land, the submarines survive, hiding beneath the ocean, and they strike back. Each warhead represents a city that could cease to exist. Lahore, Karachi, Delhi, Mumbai. Millions of lives reduced to a strategic calculation. That is the paradox of deterrence. These weapons exist, so they are never used. But someone has to maintain them. Someone has to guard the launch codes. Someone has to live with the knowledge of what they could do. That is the real cost. Not dollars, but weight. The weight of knowing. But weapons must be built. And that brings us to number 1. At number 1, the project that makes everything else possible. This is the one we warned you about at the beginning. Not the biggest weapon, not the most expensive system, but the reason Pakistan can build everything you just saw: indigenous defense production. Let me take you back to 1998. Pakistan conducted its nuclear tests. Within hours, the phone lines between Washington and Islamabad went cold. The United States imposed sanctions. Arms sales stopped. Spare parts vanished. Fighter jets sat grounded. Ships rusted at dock. Pakistan's military depended entirely on foreign suppliers, and overnight, those suppliers disappeared. That was the moment Pakistan made a decision: never again. Today, Pakistan builds its own weapons: JF-17 fighters, Al-Khalid tanks, Hangor submarines, Babur, and Ra'ad missiles. According to defense trade reports, Pakistan signed agreements worth billions in defense exports in 2024 to 25. Countries in the Middle East, Central Asia, and Africa are buying Pakistani weapons. Here is why this shocks India more than any stealth jet or missile system. A country that buys weapons depends on the seller. A country that builds weapons depends on no one. The United States cut Pakistan off in 1965, again in 1971, again in 1998. Not anymore. Pakistan now produces fighters, submarines, tanks, and missiles domestically. That capability cannot be sanctioned, cannot be stopped, cannot be taken away. India can outspend Pakistan 9-1, but it cannot stop Pakistan from building what it needs to survive. This is not just a project, it is independence. And independence cannot be bought. It must be built. 10 projects, not to match India's power, but to neutralize it. Stealth that bypasses radar, submarines that guarantee retaliation, nuclear weapons that make total war unthinkable. Pakistan is outspent 9-1, but in deterrence, spending does not determine survival. Consequence does. And after seeing these 10 projects, one thing is clear. Pakistan has built enough consequence to ensure no one dares to test it. The next time someone tells you military power is measured by budget size, remember this list, because the most dangerous opponent is not the one with the most money. It is the one with nothing left to lose and everything prepared to protect. If this gave you a new way to understand the balance of power in South Asia, hit subscribe. We are just getting started. Now tell me in the comments, which project will have the biggest impact over the next decade? The stealth fighters, the submarines, the nuclear arsenal, or the one most people will never see coming?